My friend, Holy Wonka Vision, Gordon Lightfoot. We're going to be trying a song here that's going to be called Canadian Railroad Trilogy. And what I got to say from a musical standpoint is this one breaks the form of key and then time signature, going forwards and backwards with tempo, using something we would call ad librium or rubato. It allows the artist, Gordon, to move in and out of feeling of tempos and then move through them. So this must have been a recording engineer's dream, I think. I don't know. Anywho, when we're going through here, capo is definitely going to need to be on the 3rd fret to be playing these as bar chords. You get a little lost. I did in the beginning. I put a capo on when I realized the intonation was a little higher. We're going to be definitely playing in the key of D major. That's what we're viewing this through. You're going to need to know what a D major is, E minor, F sharp minor, the infamous G major, A major for sure, B minor, and then we're going to have like a C sharp diminished, but you're not going to need to know that. You can play like an A dominant, A7, and that will work. This song has a lot of moving parts. It's probably going to take about 8 minutes to go through them. I'm going to show you a format that'll let you play through your favorite parts and have fun to music. Here we go. In the beginning, we're going to have an intro, and we're going to have the D humming out. There was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run. Hold the D when the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Hold it, D. Long before the G, the white man, and long before the wheel. D. When the dark green A forest was C, too silent to be real. Now remember these chords, the C to the D, and then it goes to the A minor to the D. This is how the song actually ends too. A little different feeling. Each one of these verses in the beginning holds the last note of each phrasing longer, except for in the middle of the song, and then it reverts back to it at the end. You'll see what I'm talking about. But the time has no beginnings and the history has no sounds. As D major 7, we drop that tonic to get our C sharp, which gives our 1, 3, 5, D, F sharp, and A. An alternate note, that C sharp, you betcha. Up in the burning G of this country, they came from all around. D again. They sailed upon her waterways, and they walked their forest tall. D built mines, the mills, the factories, for the good of all us all. Remember, D goes to A minor, and it goes back to the D twice. Kind of has a feel. When a young man's fancy had turned in spring, and the railroad man had grown restless for to hear the hammers ring, their minds were overflowing with the visions of the day, with the many horn of fortune won and a lost their debt to pay. Little rubato here, right? So holds it out and then it gets groovier. They look in the future and what did they see? They saw an iron road running from the sea to sea, bringing goods to young growing land, all up from the seaports into their hands. Gets a little quieter, nails out that C. Look away, they said, across this mighty land, from the eastern shore to the western side. Again, a little bit of vibrato here. It has some like gotta lay down the tracks and tear up the rails. Open on, let his lifeblood flow. Notice how how the last note in that stanza didn't stay longer. Get away all the moving love too slow. Bringing in the workers, bringing up the rails. Oh, we gotta lay down the tracks, tear up the trails, right into the A. Open our heart, let the lifeblood flow. We gotta get away 'cause we're moving way too slow. Get on our way, build up, hit the A, and then we're gonna fade out 'cause we're moving way too slow. There's like a little, I gotta say, it feels bluegrassy but islandy. It has like a, use your E minor, G maybe, A kind of shape, F sharp, E minor, and then it basically breaks into the Behind the Blue Rockies part where it's like, behind the Blue Rockies, the sun's declining. The stars, they come stealing at the E, close of the day. A major to an A dominant, because we're moving into the D. Across D7 for my prairie, G, of our loved ones, A, lie sleeping. D again. Beyond the dark, I drop my pick, I need the pick, so wait for me, give me a sec, here we go, D to G, do do do. Beyond the dark, oceans in a place that's far away. It gets loud and then it gets really quiet. And this, the whole thing of, we are the navies who work upon the railways, swinging our hammers in the blazing sun, living on stew and drinking that whiskey, spending our backs till long days hard gone. Has like a vamp in D here, does that same verse a couple different times, does it over, and then eventually just kind of pitter patters out on the D till it say, till the railroad is done. Drones on the D, kind of monotonally, or atonally there. And then it does the A walk down. Over the mountains and over the plains, in the musking, into the rain, upon the Lawrence, all the way to the Gaspee, swinging our hammers and drawing our pay. Does that same motif, A to E, C to D, A to E, C, and ends on an A, again saying, toast to the dead. And then here's where the song kind of does its pitter-patter out. Does the D major to an A minor, which is our apparent theme in the beginning, and there's kind of like a bluegrass feel to it. To the future, been sung, and all the battles all been won. And what is that on command? Leave open up the soil with her teardrops. And after the A, there's a hard stop, and then it says, and our toil, and it does a common tone switch from the A minor into an A major. That's where the end of the song comes. You're going to play the intro, that verse, which is going to be our D, G, D, D major 7, G major, A major. Hold out that A longer than you think. And then a D again. Long before the white man, long before the we. Remember to hold it out. When the green and the dark forest was too silent to be real. And and you can give it rubato, ad librium on your own. So many are the dead men. Let that ring out however long you want to. That's kind of like a fermata or a tenuto. And then you're going to be doing this C major. To silent. C major 7 to D. To be reached. And then the song just ends going back and forth between A minor and D major, just like the song kind of started out. Was that a good enough explanation? I really enjoyed this one. Man, I just don't listen to enough Gordon. Having said that, have a great day. Aloha.